Hey, we got the Merc up in the air. The rear and the doors are pretty much there. We had a couple things occur or develop over the last few days. Notice I'm trying to look into the camera because I'm looking over here, looking at the camera. A few things developed over the past couple days, and this is good news. Got a link on steering box. I'm going to get into that in a second. We have a radiator, and we have a donation of a rim. If you remember, that tire doesn't match. So heck yeah, we got the car up in the air. We got a solution to this issue, and we're going to make the rear engine mount today. Get this thing sitting in the car proper. Let's do it. All right, I am walking around with this camera because I feel like it. We're gonna do the glasses cam under the car. It's pretty cool because these are the original rims. There's 3 of them. They're different colors. So they probably came from different vehicles, but they all have this detail of the little nub to grab the hubcap on the inside. And they got this pinstripe around the edge. They're 16 by 4.5. And they're running 600 or 650 16s. A little bigger ones in the back, but you can see they're slightly used. Our friend Bill sent us the matching deal. Thank you, sir. Same gig, same pinstripe. We're gonna get them redone, but now ugly number 4 gets a switch out. I'm looking at tires. I'm looking at brakes. This car had no front brakes, so I don't know if they were scabbed for another project, but the hubs are just barely on there. The steering box was in the car, and someone brought up a good point. What about the steering coming around this big engine? You could see the drag link and the pitman arm hanging out down there. There's still a fair amount of room here. You see where the old column came through. So looking right down the side of the head, it's going to be tight. If I use the stock column, it probably won't work. So because we're not changing the front axle and suspension orientation, considering just maybe running a Vega box, a cross steer. These spindles are the rear steer arrangement. You see, the steering arm comes back to the tie rod. It's all kind of bent. I don't know if that's just damage or the way they are shaped. Let's talk about that for a second. So this is the box that was in the car, but I noticed one thing first. There's another pitman arm sitting right here. So why would there be 2 pitman arms on one car? Nobody's talking. Was this just a donor box gotten? Was that other box scabbed out? Maybe for a vintage hot rod? I mean, if you were building a vintage hot rod, wouldn't you want that steering box and those brakes? Just saying. Starting to sleuth out some things here. The point I'm getting at is this box is seized. It does not move at all. So I tried taking that cap off. I stopped. I called a pro. They want $1,000 to fix that. So I'm thinking, man, you know, with this solid round going to the steering wheel, maybe we're going to have to modify this anyway to go around the engine. So I'm going to check out a Vega box with a rear steer. I think we can get that to work. The other clearance thing is this, the radiator issue. And a bunch of people are starting to call me out on that. Why are they calling you out on that, you might ask? Maybe they're nervous. Got the water pump just mocked up. You see someone put that X in there, that can come out. And then I got this radiator. It's Mustang style, but it's thicker and it's aluminum. It's 4-core, real 4-core. So If I just set that on the front mount with no fan on it, you can get a fan that will fit in there, like no problem. Our friend Tom said that this is a 396 that's been bored out to a 427. It's got a cam, it's got a whole kit, make it rock a little more. So I believe for a cruiser, this radiator should work fine. Here's the front end. If you're looking at that mount we were just checking, that thing goes down to it. So you can see how wide this radiator is. There's tons of room. This radiator can move well forward. You know, the old radiator was probably right around where this rod is. The new radiator can sit up ahead of that, no problem. So, plenty of room. On a personal note, I went ahead and got a swamp cooler. There it is. Got the door open, got the swamp cooler going, and now it's 92 degrees and 100% humidity. Maybe that's not going to work. I got it set just on fan now, trying to take some of the air out of the room. And there is a big vent up in the ceiling, so the struggle continues. This place is insulated. I don't know. It's just hot. We're going to have to deal with it. We're going to go into the car. Glasses cam, engage. All right, let's hop under here. Take a look at what we got. So, right now the transmission is obviously sitting on these arms, and that's not going to work because as soon as the suspension starts suspending, that's going to dent. I can raise that up a bit, about an inch. You see where our mount goes here. Hopefully I'm getting that. So I got the new mount. So it's going to get a little technical right through here. But what I was thinking is this whole thing unbolts. And remember, we ordered this ball, so the bushing for this thing here. So follow me on this. We're not lowering the car specifically, you know, with lowering kit, just the weight of the engine, right? So I'm thinking if we were to take this entire unit, shim it down whatever we needed, that would increase the caster and the front axle, thusly decreasing the chance of that, you know, shopping cart wheel death wobble. So we'll get some room here. We'll hold this up as high as we can and make the cross brace. I think we could probably shoot a straight flat bar bolted in here, straight across. Our mount gets on that, and I think we're good. Well, it's really tight, but once we get into this, we'll figure that out. Our other issue is this. All right. So I was trying to keep the engine as far back as possible, so that is going to hit. We can't bring the transmission up without really getting into that. And then on this side, it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to pull the engine away. I'm going to make two marks. You can see it's pretty much where where this hole is, and then where this just ahead. So I'm going to get the chalk and mark that. And unbolt this. And I'm going to call the vintage store, the vintage Ford supply store, because I wonder if that thing might be here, might be in the mailbox. So let's work on getting this rear mount made. It's going to be a tight under the car day. We got our wheel stands in place. You see a little better orientation of the steering from here. Here's our drag link. That's probably for this. And if that's the way Ford made it, we're going to use it. But as ugly as all this is, there's really no play in these suspension parts. So I think a good pressure wash would help it. And then I'm not seeing where that Ford box bolted to. That's the weird part. It's got 3 bolts. I'm seeing, because I'm going to use this sway bar too. Now I see where this bolts in, I think. I think it goes here. Where's the bolt holes for the steering box? So maybe just putting a Vega box in, I don't know. But you can see here how we can come across to support this. But we're not doing anything till we get that rear mount set. Let's take some measurements and do it. All right, I don't know if the glasses cam got all that because I saw the time ran out. We're gonna try to make this mount. Set the camera up so you can see. having a clearance issue between here and the pan, and our engine or our rear trans mount goes here. So just gonna look at this, cross it over right where those bolts are. So we're gonna need about a 14-inch piece. Now I'm gonna raise this up with the jack, and we're gonna see how much clearance we can get off of that. A little less humid on the floor. Man, I had the door shut. I wasn't thinking. I went to get some parts at the hardware store, and the shop just became like a freaking greenhouse in here. Super humid. So let's see what we can get out of this. Not much. That's starting to push that pan. So it's enough just to take the pressure off the pan. Unless this jack is maxed out, I could be hitting there. Okay, since we got this supported, let's move this a little bit out the way because I'm raising the car up. Let's just put it on this side of the pan. All right, let me get the chalk. Let me unbolt this. Looks like it's probably 9/16. I'll be right back. Come on, 9/16. Heck no, it's gonna be 5/8 all day long. Look at me go. I'll be right back with 5/8. All right. So we got this situated. Nice. This out the way. Nice. We're going to make a couple of chalk marks where the transmission was interfering. All right. So let's see. Right here is a major problem, and then there's an old bracket there also. I'll probably just grind all that off. And then there's actually a bracket here too. It's not interfering, but this is the main point. So, I have to work on that. And then this mount, with that other stuff out of the way, verify that these holes are gonna jive. Yeah, so this is the correct, is it? Yeah, from there to there. Yeah, so this is the correct mount. And a quick look with the tape measure. Yeah, that'll be perfect. We could go across, remember, straight across there. Let's get an engine hoist under this. Let's get the engine up and forward. We got our marks. We'll continue on. So hopefully you can see this. This point here, you see how it's got this shape kind of pushing out. It was really interfering right at this mark. And then back here, you can see a chalk line right there. So I'm gonna get in and grind that. And you know, I might even just put the porta power on the bottom and push that out a little bit. There's a little better view of what we're dealing with. There was an old cross member here. And these rivets, I'm gonna grind all that stuff right out. I shaved off the top of the rivets and then cut through that plate. Yep. That should pretty much be our clearance issue. Nice. Grind those little rivets off. But I think, just to be sure, it's gonna put the porta power right from this hole to this hole, and it's gonna push it. I'll take a measurement, but if we can get a 1/2 inch, we're that much better off. It's also been quite a while since I used this, so hopefully it works. So we got 2 holes. We got this one, and yeah, if I get this mounted in there, maybe we can go for the outside. There to there. Yeah, let's just go. Yeah. That should work perfect. Yeah, right there. I'm just gonna lock it in place. And I'm just gonna take a quick measurement. Just gonna put a lot of stress on the rest of the frame. Yep. Do I care? Nope. From that hole to the center of the arrow, 15 inches. Oh wow, it's denting this, which is perfect. Amazing. It's actually denting the frame. Love it. That works even better. It's like dimpling the frame. So I don't even have this concern about the rest of it distorting. Lovely. Let's put this in that hole. That. So he said we're from the hole to the arrow. Oh yeah, 15 and a half. Look at that. It pushed it right out. Perfect. Let's check it with no pressure. It's about the same. It'll stretch. I can see it's stretched. It's coming back. Got a lot more pressure. A lot more space in there now. There it is. Heck yeah. Yeah, I bet that'll do it. So all it did was it rotated this chassis back a little bit. I bet we're gonna have tons of room now. We got this out of the way so it could shift over just a bit and move up. I'd like to just get it right on that corner because that's where it was touching. Over here is just kind of against it. See if I can't just get a little bit better action right at the bottom right here. Put that right into the hole. There we go. That's gonna count. Yeah, now we're at like 16. Cool. All right. 1 quarter power lesson. And we're back to the grind. All right. What goes up must come down. Let's set it back in. Where are we? Okay. So we got this these engine mounts back in. Let's get under there, see what we're working with. Center this up and make the mount. All right, here we are, back underneath. So I just want to say, plenty of room. This transmission ain't coming close to anything. And I've got it right up against the floor now. So you can see where this ball is. This used to come down to here. So look at all that room for the suspension. You're dialed in. So let's make this mount. Move this over a little bit. This transition can come just a little bit over to be centered. Right there. Yeah, it's not touching nothing. Sweet. So I'm actually going to leave these pliers right there as a wedge. Maybe you're ensured correctivity. All right, let me see what bolts we need for this. They are this size, so we need 2 of those. Be right back. All right, so we got that. Let's check this now. Oops. Yeah, if we come directly across this mount, we're gonna want it 15. And we can make that hole in the center and then we'll drill up. That'll be plenty. So let's find something substantially at least 15 by 2. All right, so we need a piece that's 15 inches by 2 inches. And I was thinking about this. This is heavy stuff. This is 1/4 inch thick. And over 15 inches, you know, I might just choose this right here. That way I can have this little rolled edge and it'll be like super duper strong. So let's just try this. I was just thinking we needed it 2 inches, but we have this roll. So let's see. It's not a hard, if we have 2 out, well, that should work. So let's make it 2 1/4, because we have this little roller edge. Let's do 2 1/4. There to there. Come out 15. Oh, wow. This is exactly 15 inches. Crazy. My ruler's 15. Ruler's 16. This is 15. So we got that, and that's where that, the plate will bolt to. But we want to take advantage of this little edge here. So, looking at it, we got this tight. We're going to take it just, hopefully you can see this, just to where the ruler touches, which is at this mark here. That way it's not just a flat plate. It's got a little bit of an action edge to it. I'll have to trim that out on both sides where it does come up against the chassis. But we cut this off first. See, we have this one little bit that really gives it some rigidity because it was in the brake. It was pushed in. All right, you can see that's the scenario. I give it a lot of strength. All right, so what we got is this mount here. We have this piece, and I was thinking, I want this little thing to turn up, and it could turn up right through there. Sorry if this totally disorients everyone, but I gotta see this. Can you see that? We want this. We don't want it to hit the mount. That is right there. Now we're going to want to clearance this here and here, right down to the flats. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see how this works out. These are our marks. The reason being is where the chassis comes through. We don't want this to hit. So I want to cut out, drill a hole. All right, let's see how this works out. Get this bolted in. All right, let's try this now. This piece here, that there, this here. And get this bolted in. I might be able to just trim this right in place also. Let's see. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, cool. I got some bolts under here. I'm not really sure what's going on with this front suspension thing. Maybe it's a different wishbone, because looks like another style could come back even further, but that's what we're working with. It's in the car. Who knows, they might have changed out the front axle entirely, but it doesn't really affect us. I'm looking at this and I see a perfect spot for a good drill. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get that. We'll probably do these 5/16 because I don't want them super massive because we're gonna have 2 of them, and we're a little bit tight on the edges right here. But it looks like if I take this a little bit over, we are golden. All right, 5/16 drill. All right, so I want this over just a little bit. I'm gonna use this and punch through car frame. That looks good, like that. Yeah, right there. And again, of course, I'm going to get proper hardware. This mock-up stuff I have. Get a 1/2 inch on there. Yeah, still looks good. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get big washers on the top side of this frame too. But just trying to make it happen. Right, so one thing I wanted to say was that I feel good that, with having spread these wishbone shapes in the frame, this is a very strong binder, you know, it holds it right in place. So if it did feel as if it may be weakened, like gonna push out or in, this with the transmission mounting and everything is not going nowhere. So, and it's definitely not gonna fall down, you know, and ruin anything in that regard. Last one. All right, I'm gonna get some of these shavings out of the way and then cut this off with the disc. It's a very strong transmission mount. And then once we put this with the ball receiver in place, you have this room here, but I could see us doing anything like this. Let's put a little more caster in that, and we could raise this up just with a shim in here. So until we get that ball, nothing is 100%. Let me call them right now. Let me call them right now, and then we'll wrap this video up. We'll know where we're doing next. So I just called the early Ford store. That rubber bushing that goes on the suspension is on its way. So I'm looking at the orientation of the shackles and the springs, and I'm thinking, is this even the correct axle for the car? All that suspension stuff, we're going to develop it coming up next. Engines mounted, transmissions mounted, we are ready to go. Got 4 rims, a rear axle. Let's try to get this thing down on the ground. Next.